Want to know how to go about building an audience for your online course? Well, I'm really excited in this video to be interviewing Sunny Lenarduzzi, who will be showing her tips on how to build an audience ready to buy. So if you are getting ready to sell an online course or anything really, then you'll not want to miss this, so stay tuned. Hi, Demelza Marie here with Creative Online Courses. Now on this channel, I guide you through tips and tutorials to crush it with visual media and produce your online courses like a boss. I also show behind the scenes vlog of what it's like to be a mom entrepreneur, so if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, I'm excited to be interviewing Sunny Lenarduzzi, so let's jump right in. Hey Sunny, thanks for meeting with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself so that those who don't know you can learn a little bit more about you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So my name's Sunny Lenarduzzi. I started my YouTube channel a few years ago and really started it just to answer client questions and to help my clients understand some of the concepts that I worked with them on a little bit better. My first video was on how to live stream, and it got a lot of views when I posted it, even though I had very few subscribers because it got picked up in search. And it was a big light bulb moment that if I continued to create this helpful content on things that I knew about as far as what I was working with my clients on in my business, I wonder what would happen. If that happened on the first video, what would happen in a year? And then the first year I grew from scratch to 50,000 subscribers and 3 million views, built my email list from scratch, launched my first course, then launched my second course. And from there, we've built the business to just under 1 million last year, and we'll do over 1 million this year in the business. So YouTube really, I say it all the time, changed my life, changed my business, and it sounds cheesy, but it's true.
That's amazing. Hopefully my story will be the same at some point.
Yes, it will be.
So what would you recommend for people who are wanting to build their online courses? How would you recommend they build their audience?
Yeah, so well, I have something called the Boss Course Blueprint, which you're actually a part of, which is awesome. And what I recommend is that you build your audience using YouTube. That's what I was able to do. So I use YouTube to build my business, build my list, and I have a program called YouTube for Bosses that teaches you exactly how to do that. And that's the way to do it without having to pay for traffic and pay for advertising. But there's a bunch of ways to build your audience. We've used paid advertising in the past on Facebook. We've leveraged video marketing and creating warm audiences off of the people who watch our videos, and then we remarket to them. We've used YouTube advertising, but in the beginning, when I launched my first course, I only used my traffic and my list that came directly from YouTube.
Okay, so how would you suggest that someone starts? They got maybe no audience at all. They've got a course idea. How would you recommend they go about starting?
Well, I mean, it's kind of two different questions, because for the course, you want to make sure it's something that you're an expert at and that you already have experience in and that you already have testimonials for, and that you can package up with your own unique strategy. And it's not just something that you think is a good idea, and so you're going to attempt to make the course up based off of that, because that's a really hard way to do it, and it's probably not going to sell, in all honesty. So what I recommend doing is figuring out what your expertise is and what you've, learned to the best of your ability to do, and what you've taught other people to do already, or consulted or worked with people on doing already. I have people in my program who teach people to fly drones. I have people who run social media marketing companies. I have people who are video production experts. Really, whatever it is that you're the expert in, that's what you want to create your course on. So what I recommend is figuring out the outline first and kind of mapping it out into blueprint, which is what I talk about in the course, and having that outline set, and then starting to build your audience based off of what that outline looks like. So what kind of content is your audience craving? And then making sort of micro content related to that will attract the right audience for you and the right target buyers. So for me, the videos that I started on my YouTube channel when I had like no subscribers, nobody knew who I was doing videos on how to use live streaming for your business, video marketing basics, how to start gaining traction on YouTube, how to use Twitter. So I was talking about all these different things. And then my first course was called Recording for Revenue. It no longer exists anymore. But my first course was all about marketing on social media using video. So all my audience was already there because they had already found me on YouTube talking about these topics. Then I had the appropriate lead magnets or opt-in to build my email list. And then when I launched that first course, I had built-in buyers. So it's focusing on content that your audience is craving, building the outline for your course so you already have it set, and then starting to really build your audience and build your email list. And then you have this built-in audience of buyers when you do want to launch.
So you mentioned lead magnets. Can you say what that is for those who don't know?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways. It used to be like, okay, it has to be an email list that you're driving people to. Now I feel like there's a few different spots that you can convert people to. So the first thing is a lead magnet, which basically means I have a video on how to grow your YouTube channel from scratch to 100,000 or from scratch to your first 1,000 subscribers. At the end of that video, I tell people, now if you want to grow even further, even faster, I have a guide on how to go from 0 to 100,000 subscribers in a year, because that's what one of my clients was able to do. And I've taught a lot of people how to use this method. So I broke it down into a guide. So it's a free offer that's completely relevant to your video content, so you know your audience will be interested in it, and it's basically just a link that they go to. It leads them to a landing page. On that landing page, they enter their email address and their name, and they download it from there, and then they get added to your email address, which gives you that built-in list of buyers. Other places you can send people to are your website, where if you have a tracking pixel for Facebook, you can then remarket to them. And then you can also send them to a Facebook group, which is a great way to build a community and build relationships with your audience.
Okay, so when it comes to building relationships with the audience, how do you recommend doing that? Because I would imagine that if you're on Facebook and you're on YouTube and you're on Twitter and you're on Instagram, it can just suck up a lot of your time. And most of us don't have a whole lot of extra time because we're building our courses and we've got families and maybe other work to do. So how do you recommend being able to build that audience effectively?
I think it's really understanding like where you're to. But even to this day, my biggest focus is on the people that are already in my community. And so I think it can sound daunting when you're just starting out, but also keep in mind that you're not going to go from 0 to 100,000 people in your community on all platforms overnight. So the only reason that I've grown to the place that I've gotten to is because from day one, when I had 5 people following me, I built relationships with those 5 people, and those 5 people are still in my community. So I listened to them, I took their feedback, I engaged with them even then when they weren't engaging with me. It's just like an offline relationship. It's like people will forget about you if you don't show them that you actually care. So I think and like those 5 people will snowball, because those 5 people will be your biggest brand ambassadors, and they will tell all of their friends about you and your expertise and how good you are at what you do. And then those 5 people will tell more people. That's how it happens. That's how you build relationships. That's how you build momentum in your audience growth.
And I'm guessing as well, giving away a lot of free content so that I mean, obviously, when we're trying to build a business, we're thinking of being able to make money, but at the same time, we need to give away a lot to start with in order to build that audience, right?
Yeah, and I think people find it interesting that like I've been doing a video a week for almost 3 years now, and they're really good strategies, and they're really like things that are super tactical and you can implement, and they're things that I'm using on my clients as well. And people are like, why are you giving that away for free? And I'm like, because I really do believe generosity equals abundance. I believe the more that you give, the more that you're going to get in return. And it's not an expectation. It's just the truth of it, because you want to work with somebody you trust. And I think especially in the online space, there's lack of trust a lot of the time, because you don't know who's telling the truth and who's not, and who's actually an expert and who's not. So I always want to be giving my content out to my audience to be like, I am the expert. So come to me when you're ready. And I don't need you to buy from me today, but I know that we're going to build a relationship. We're going to build trust. We're going to build a community where when you are ready to invest in something to build your business, whether it's my programs or my services, I know you're going to want to come to me versus somebody else.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So with people who are looking to do something longer term, so they have maybe a little bit more time, would you recommend they focus on the course first, or do you recommend they just build an audience and build their credibility first?
I would say build an audience, build credibility first too, because I think a lot of the times people think they know what they want to make a course on and think they know what's going to sell, and it's probably not what your audience wants. So it's good to create content, put it out there, see what resonates with an audience, see what starts to build your audience, and that's going to allow you to figure out what kind of paid content you want to make as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know that it's one thing I learned the hard way. Well, I say I learned the hard way, but I was just saying to you before that I had to make a choice between making the course and building an audience because I couldn't do this two at the same time. But then I couldn't actually market the course because I had no one to market to.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing.
And actually build the audience. So I think, as you were saying, it's a lot better to actually build the audience in the first place, and build that credibility, and then do the course alongside that as you're able to.
Totally.
So, are there any other tips that you would, give an online course creator, someone who's coming up against this for the first time, that you would wish that you knew in advance?
I think just research. Like, what does your audience want? Survey them all the time. Ask questions. Find proof of concept or proof of profit, I call it, and go to Amazon, go to other course creators, figure out what's actually selling and for what price point it's selling, because that also gives you a clue as to what's going to sell for you and what your audience is actually going to want to buy. So I think that's really step number one, and that will give you a lot more clarity on what actually makes a good paid offer.
Sounds great. Okay. Well, I think that's great information, and I want to know, where can people go to get more information from you, more help? You mentioned a couple of courses that you have. Maybe you can expand on that.
Yeah, so you can go to my website, sunnylenarduzzi.com, and then I have a whole section with all of my free and paid offers there. And then if you're interested in using YouTube to build your audience, I have a really great free training on that called the Boss YouTube Strategy. So it's www.bossyoutubestrategy.com, and you can sign up for that there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sunny. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, I hope that was helpful for you as you're thinking about building an audience for your online course. Thanks, Sunny, for sharing that information with us. So my question for you is, what strategy do you think you are going to do next? So let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching this video, and if you are interested in more tips and tutorials on visual media or producing online courses or seeing what it's like behind the scenes of a mum building a business, then please hit the subscribe button, and you can check out a couple of videos right here as well. And please hit the like button if you like this video, and the bell for notifications of future videos, and we will talk soon.